Hello, student org leaders. My name is Vashti Moffett, and I am the Student Activities Coordinator of Student Organizations on the Administrative Services team. I am so excited to have you here today for our first S.O.L.D session of the semester, and S.O.L.D stands for Student Org Leader Developments. These workshops are designed specifically for you as student org leaders to help develop you to be the best leaders that you can be for your organizations, but also for your overall collegiate experience. For today, you will need a piece of paper or a pencil, forgive me, to take notes. Or if you like to take notes digitally, that is perfectly fine. But please go ahead and gather anything that you will need to take notes for today. I'm so excited that you have decided to click onto this session today. This is probably one of my favorite sessions that we talk about because it helps to get us started for the school year and it sets us up so that we can be the most successful that we need to be for ourselves and our orgs. So first, let's talk about what is S.O.L.D. S.O.L.D is a leadership development initiative designed to equip student organization leaders with the skills, strategies, and support they need to lead with confidence, collaborate effectively, and create meaningful impact within their organizations and the campus community. Through interactive workshops, networking opportunities, and hands-on learning, S.O.L.D empowers students to grow as leaders today while preparing them for success beyond college. So to sum that up, S.O.L.D is designed specifically for you to help develop you. So just a little bit of our S.O.L.D schedule. Today is August 28th, and we're going to be discussing Greenlit, navigating event app procedures and event safety. But we have the rest of our schedule planned out for the school year, and I'll go over just a few of them that I think are going to be really, really impactful. So if you see number 3 on September 25th, we're going to be talking about all synced up. We're going to be learning how to navigate OrgSync like a pro. OrgSync is not always the easiest platform to navigate, and we understand that here at Student Activities. And so we want to help set you up so that you can navigate OrgSync freely on your own, but so that you can also teach others how to navigate the app as well. And then number 4, directly after that, we're going to be talking about next up, Smart Student Org Succession. And basically what that means is officer transition. So we'll help you to identify a plan that will make things easier for you, forgive me, as you are going through that officer transition. And it doesn't matter if your officer transition happens in the fall or the spring, the information that you learn in this session will benefit you greatly. All right, we have a few more. We are going to conclude the semester on November 20th with a session entitled Beyond the Org from Campus to Career. So we are going to be talking about transferable skills, identifying what transferable skills are, and learning how student orgs help us to gain transferable skills, but how we can also use them in our careers once we graduate. In the spring, we're going to kick things off on January 22nd with Let's Collab. And that's going to be discussing fostering partnerships across campus. That's partnerships with other student orgs and also with departments. Then one of my favorites that I'm so excited for is on February 26th, we're going to be discussing Marketing Matters, establishing a healthy online and in-person presence. Just as a pro tip, if your organization is able to host virtual events for commuter students or maybe students that are parents or students that attend most of their classes at Discovery Park or Frisco, it will help you greatly. And so within that session, we'll talk about hosting virtual events, but we'll also talk about how to make sure that your social media is looking current and that we don't have something from 2021. All right, and then we have our final 2 sessions of the year that are going to take place in April, and we're still figuring out those dates. But the first one that's going to be talked about is the friendship factor, managing relationships and leadership roles. We know that sometimes it's not always easy to be the president of your best friend, so we're going to help you navigate how to go through some of those challenges if you experience that, or if anyone you know is experiencing that. And then we will conclude with my favorite overall, summer success strategies, setting your organization up for a strong return. So just like in the beginning of this semester, and we just opened up the registration application, returning org registration application, what we will talk about in that final session is how to set the org up so that if there were any issues at the beginning of this semester, you can ensure that those issues do not repeat themselves going into the 2026 and 2027 academic school year. All right, next let's discuss how will S.O.L.D benefit me? So there are three ways that we focus on how S.O.L.D will benefit you as an organization leader. So if you're ever in a S.O.L.D session and you're thinking, well, what am I gaining from this? What is the overall mission of these S.O.L.D sessions? This is where we lie within three different pillars. So the first one is stronger leadership skills and confidence. So through S.O.L.D, students practice real-world leadership strategies like conflict resolution, delegation, and communication that prepare them to lead their peers effectively. Number two, enhance collaboration and networking opportunities. By engaging with peers who have different perspectives, students learn how to collaborate across differences, build coalitions, and form support systems. And then finally, number three, personal and professional growth for the future. S.O.L.D workshops help students develop transferable skills such as time management, event planning, public speaking, and strategic thinking that will go far beyond campus life. All right, so let's go ahead and get into today's session. It is titled Greenlit, Navigating Event App Procedures and Event Safety. On our agenda today, we're going to talk about the event app process, which will include timeline, reviewers, tips and tricks, and event details. And then we will also discuss event safety committee, and the risk management that is needed. All right, first, let's talk about the difference between completion versus submission. Completion means when you first finish the event app. Submission means when the president and the advisor have both thumbed up on the event application. So if you only have finished the event app, then that means that it is complete, but it is not given a full submission until the president and the advisor have both thumbed up on that event application. Timeline and deadline. Timeline varies depending on reviewers, risk details, questions needing answers, or if the space is available, etc. Some deadlines that we should be mindful of. If it is a low risk event that is minimally 5 business days in advance, low risk could be like your reoccurring general meetings or your reoccurring executive meetings. But a higher risk event needs at least 15 business days. So these are our larger events that are going to be held on campus. Possibly if you're having a speaker, depending on who that speaker is, you just want to be sure to be able to give our event team enough time to review your event application. That way we can ensure we have everything in place to support you to the best of our abilities. Reviewers, this is going to be very, very important. So the president and the advisor thumb up at first for approval. Then it depends. So it depends on what is needed. If you are requesting food, food safety will have to also thumb up. If you are reserving a department such as a union, classrooms, the rec, Discovery Park, resident halls, etc., then those spaces may have a thumbs up depending on who is tagged. And then if there are any minors involved, then you will need youth protections approval also. Each reviewer must thumb up before the next reviewer can approve. So it happens within steps. Your final approver is student activities coordinators or assistant directors of the event team. So in order for the team to approve, when they review, please make sure to answer any questions they have asked in the comments, and then upload any final needs if needed, such as health permits. So it's really important that you are checking that comment section of the application pretty frequently because our team is going to be commenting to reach out to you for clarifying things. And so the quicker that you can respond back, the quicker that your event can be approved. All right, booking space. So quick tip. The more space options and flexibility with time and date of your event, the likelihood goes up that your event app will be approved quicker. Limiting time, day, or space gives more chances you would be denied and have to resubmit. So I know that there are some very common spaces that student orgs want to use, such as the BLB and the union. But remember, you have space available across the whole UNT campus. So when you are planning your event with your executive team or with your organization, please be mindful to book or consider two backup spaces in case you can't get your initial space. I know that can be a little disheartening and not what we want to hear, but at the end of the day, we want your event to happen and we want it to happen successfully. So please be mindful and consider some backup spots. A pro tip also, especially if your event is outside, you definitely want to consider a backup spot in case weather is not feasible. Tips and tricks for your event application: be as descriptive as possible. What are the games that you're going to play? What is the craft? Who is going to be there? The more descriptive you are, the more it helps the event team. That way, you don't have to go back and forth in the comment section of the application. Number two, keep your OrgSync notifications on. When we comment with a question, respond as soon as possible. So when there is a comment on your application, you will be notified via OrgSync notifications, but you also will receive an email. So please be looking out for those. Number three, be honest with your activities. Our goal is to get your event to a yes or an approval. We are not trying to tell you all no. We're not trying to be the fun police, but we do want to ensure that everything is happening in a safe way and that we are knowledgeable because we want to be able to help in the case that you need help during the event or even help before the event takes place that we can help to plan for any risks that may happen at the event. Number four, this is probably my favorite tip. Take advantage of our event consultation services. So even before you put in an event application, you can book an event consultation. What this is you will sit down with our assistant director of event services or one of our two coordinators. Well, they will walk through your event with you and give you suggestions, tips, and tricks on how to make it better or how to improve. They can ask you questions that maybe you didn't think of, or they can help to connect you to some other departments or resources on campus, depending on what you are needing. And this is a great service to utilize because more than likely, if you have met with one of our coordinators or our assistant director, then they will help to navigate you through the process so that your application does not become denied. Especially for those larger events, I highly recommend that you book an event consultation. Number five, submit earlier than the deadline in case you need to resubmit. So I gave a schedule of if it's a low risk event, you want to do 5 days. If it's a high risk event, you want to do 15 days. That is the deadline. But if you already know, say it's August and you already know what you want to do in December, you can go ahead and submit that application in case it is denied and you need to resubmit. That way, we're not rushing and you're not rushing, and that kind of takes some pressure and anxiety off of everyone. So the public performance rights, if trying to show a movie, look for movies in the media library at UNT and comment with the proof. So the media library at UNT does have movies and I believe video games also for you all to rent free of charge as students of UNT that you can utilize in meetings or events. And number seven, have your speakers list ready when submitting. So if you know that you're going to have a speaker coming to this event, then please list them down. Also, another tip with this, I would confirm that your speaker can attend that event before putting that into the event application. Navigating event details. Have the information up front. It takes longer if you are missing information. And where you can kind of help to organize that information is in our event consultations. You may have to resubmit if a reviewer wasn't tagged. So just be mindful of that. If you're, say you put an event application and now you want to add food to the event. So then adding food late will then need food safety's approval. Tell us what your activities are. If the event application is vague, we will have to ask questions in that comment section. And also, please be mindful, questions does not mean that we are going to deny. It just means that we need some clarity on some things. So what are we looking for? We're looking for what are you doing? Where are you doing it? Who is coming? Is this an on or off-campus guest? In what capacity will you need? We're also looking for food and drinks, which will require a health permit. We're looking for risk outside at night. Does it need lights? Is there amplified sound? Are there minors involved? And let me clarify that when we say risk assessment or risk management, it doesn't necessarily mean that we think that your event is dangerous. It just means that the possibility of something, right? There could be something that could happen, and we want to prepare for that. So let's say that you are having an event and you want to bring some therapy dogs on campus. That is seen as a risk management or a risk assessment need because the dogs will need to have insurance, they will need to have training, everyone will need to be aware in case one dog runs off, what will that look like? What will happen? So again, risk management does not always mean that we think that your event is dangerous. It just means what can we plan for and how can we be proactive in that planning? So after submission recap, we have routing. Those are reviewers, then final approval. Just because space is booked does not mean the event is approved. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Just because the space is booked does not mean the event is approved. There will be student activities clarifying questions. If it is a high-risk event, there will be an ESC call or meeting. If it is a low-risk event, there will be a calendar edit and then approval. So earlier I talked about if it is a high risk event, there will be an ESC meeting. And what ESC stands for is Event Safety Committee. So the purpose of the Event Safety Committee is to help student orgs identify and mitigate risk at their event to decrease chances of injury, damage, and liability. So who is a part of the ESC? It is the police department here on campus, the reserving department, student activities, and risk management. So the event safety process. The ESC chair will review the event. They will determine if the org needs an ESC call or meeting, and this can be based off of level or risk and risk factors, such as daytime versus nighttime, inside versus outside, attendance, is this off campus, on campus, are employees going to be allowed, non-UNT students going to be allowed, are there outside entities such as vendors or performers, and then what is the overall activity? The ESC chair will reach out to the organization to schedule a call or meeting. If a meeting is needed, the committee and the org will discuss event, plan to mitigate risk, and then create an event safety planner. Student orgs must sign and return the event safety planner and meet stipulations by given deadlines. Once stipulations are met, the event app will be approved. Here's a list of examples of what would make your event high risk: alcohol, physical activity, attendance over 150, inflatables, you'll need to submit a permit request for that, guest speakers, overnight events, more than 25 off-campus or non-UNT guests. If it's a concert, cookout, dance, new member presentation, or tournament, amplified sound, there is a city ordinance involved and university policy, so we want to be mindful of that. Exhibits, structures, camping, animals, renting equipment, or hazardous materials. All right, and let's conclude by discussing risk management. I've been saying that word a lot. So, just as a few tips in regards to risk management, just because your event may be tagged for ESC, it does not guarantee that you will have an ESC meeting. Sometimes you may just get a phone call to discuss the event and talk it through, or you may not have a call or a meeting. But regardless, please be honest so we can help keep you, your organization, and those attending your events safe. Thank you so much for attending this SOL workshop session. I hope that it helped you. If you are needing clarifying questions in regards to event applications and safety or risk management, please contact Jeremy Sipple. He is our Assistant Director of Student Organizations Event Services. You may email him at jeremy.sipple@unt.edu. And if you're needing any clarifying questions, then please feel free to view our website. Thank you so much for attending this SOLD session. I can't wait to see you in the next one. And as always, go mean green.